What's up, everybody? It's Kobe with Amore IT Solutions. Just wanted to put out a quick video on a network install that we did last week down in Baldwin, Michigan. Um, Basically, we had a customer that contacted us, and it was probably 3 or 4 months ago, stating that they had satellite internet, and it was horrible. They actually have a fairly good sized house, but it's back in the wooded area. They have woods all around them, so um, they're so far away from a main road that they could not get broadband or fiber internet. So they kind of have been stuck for years with Viasat satellite. So like I said, it's been horrible for them. The customer actually works from home and does video conferences, and oftentimes he's getting disconnected or just having horrible experiences trying to do work from home. So we went out to his house a couple months ago, looked over the property and his equipment, and came up with a solution to put in a Starlink um, low orbiting satellite system. Basically, we went with the customer, talked to him, went over all of the equipment that we wanted to use. After he approved it, we went ahead and ordered it. Once it arrived, we scheduled basically it took us 4.5 days to do the work. Once we got all the equipment, we drove down to Baldwin. We stayed down there in a cabin for, like I said, about 4 days. And yeah, so here's some of the pictures here. Not only did the customer want internet in his house, but he also wanted internet in his garage, which also has a loft above the garage, which they have a bed, and it's basically like a living area in the loft area here. But here's a picture of the garage. You can see at the top the Starlink that we put in. Let's see if we can zoom in. You can see it right here. We did have to use a boom lift to get up that high. Basically, we put the Starlink here, and then we ran the cable along the trim here. You can't really see it in the picture. You can see a little bit where we had to come in to get the cable inside. And show you a closer view of the Starlink. Once we got inside, we had to run the cable along this kind of baseboard here. So on the right hand side of my wife here is the garage door, and then we came down here along here and came into the rack. You can see her opening up the front panel of the rack. We've got a patch panel, a network switch, and a battery backup in here. And this white boxy looking thing here is the actual Starlink router, which we bypassed and used our own router. It's sitting in the bottom of the rack. You can't really see it. Here's a picture a little bit further away. You can see we used a Wi-Fi access point to give wireless access to not only this part of the garage, but also up in the loft. And we basically, out this door here, if I could zoom in, you could see the cables. You could barely see. We got a couple of outdoor rated Cat 6 cables that we went out of the garage, and we went along this kind of trim on the outside of the door and then down and then into the ground, and we had to take shovels, me and my wife, and bury this cable. We actually ended up having to bury 2 cables, but one of them went probably, I'd say maybe 55, 60 feet, and then went into the house, and then the other one had to go all the way around the house to the customer's office. So that took us probably about 3 hours to dig up the ground and bury the cable. I don't have images of that, but let's see here. Just another shot of the garage, closer, being shot from the actual door, garage door. Um, let's see. So once we got inside the house, the customer had like several TVs that he wanted to have like streaming services like Apple TVs. So they bought a couple of Apple TVs. Here's the one down in the basement. And then the image that I was just showing is the 8-port switch that we put behind the TV. Behind this wall is actually the network room where the rack is. But you can see that we've got cables going one into the TV. And this one I don't think we hooked up with an Apple TV. But we did two of them, one in the upstairs living room and one in the master bedroom that's also upstairs. So let's see. The rack. Here's the rack on the other side of that wall. Basically, this cylinder-looking thing is a wireless access point for the basement area. You can see all the network cables coming in. This house already had network cables run all throughout the house, so we basically took all of the cabling out of the old rack that they had, and then we had to repurpose it for the new rack. You can see at the top we've got a patch panel, and we've got another, this is a 24-port switch. We've got a rack-mounted power strip to plug electronics in, and then we've got a battery backup. Three boxes, identical boxes here, are Sonos amps. So we hooked up some speakers that were all throughout the house. We couldn't hook up everything because he only had us purchase 3 of the amps. So we were able to hook up the, let's see, the office area where the client works. He had 2 speakers in there. 2 speakers just outside of that on kind of like a porch deck area. And then the other 2 speakers were inside the house in the living room. They've got speakers in the master bedroom. They've got speakers in the basement. And they may have us go back and hook those up. And they'd have to buy a couple more of these or a few more of these Sonos amps to do that. But yeah, then down on the bottom, this is their Viasat router. We just kind of set it in the bottom of the network rack here. They can use it as a secondary connection, but I tell you, the connection with the Starlink is so much better than their Viasat. Before we put the Starlink in, you couldn't go in certain parts of the house and even have internet, and it would buffer. Pages would take forever to load. You'd lose connectivity wirelessly with like your phone or laptop. It was just a really bad experience. Once we hooked up to Starlink, you could walk anywhere through the house, and they were averaging probably, well, to back up the Viasat, the best I saw the Viasat was about 40 meg download and then like 1 or 2 meg upload. With the Starlink, we were seeing speeds up to 200 megabits download, and then you're seeing about, I think, 40 to 45 upload. So way better than the Viasat. Here's another picture, closer up picture of the network rack. And let's see what else here. It's like a side view. This is a really big, really big kind of, I guess, I don't know if you call it like a walk-in closet. There's no door, but this whole area has clothes and stuff back here. It's a pretty big room. We did, like I said, had to use a boom lift. So we had it delivered from McAllister's, which we've used a few times. Here's the lift. I think it's a 60-foot boom lift. You can see the guy basically getting it off the semi for us, and it's my truck sitting here. Because it's such a wooded area and it's really hard to get back to the property. So they had to basically unload this about a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile away from the house, and I had to just drive it the rest of the way because the semi just couldn't get back there. So my wife followed me with the truck, and here's me on here driving it to the customer's residence. Had to avoid all these trees and whatnot. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys some of the pictures and stuff. And we do these installs all the time. Most of the time, these are situations where someone can't get good, like broadband, like I said, or fiber internet. They're kind of hamstrung with getting real slow, sometimes DSL, sometimes like satellite like this. And this is a really good alternative to people that can't get the higher speed internet. So if you're ever in the need that you want to talk to us, or we could do a consult and look at your property and look at what you have, and we could put one of these Starlinks in for you. You can do them for residential or businesses. So anyways, I think that's about it. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us at the website at amoreitsolutions.com. You can also email us at info@amoreitsolutions.com, or you can give us a call at 231-944-0799. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll talk to you later.